Yeah, I'm out at Brooklyn. Now I'm down in Tribeca, right next to the Narrow. But I'll be hood forever. I'm the new Sinatra. And since I made it here, I can make it anywhere. Yeah, they love me everywhere. I used to cop in Harlem. All of my Dominicanos right there up on Broadway. Pulled me back to that McDonald's. Took it to my stash spot, 560 State Street. Catch me in the kitchen like a Simmons whipping pastry. Cruising down A Street, off-white Lexus. Driving so slow, but BK is from Texas. Me, I'm out that Bed-Stuy, home of that boy Biggie. Now I live on Billboard, and I brought my boys with me. Say what up to Tata, still sipping my top. Sitting courtside, Knicks and Nets give me high five. I be spiked out, I could trip a referee. Tell by my attitude that I most definitely from.
Don't get it twisted. Everybody hollering loud ain't saying something. We need activists that are at large, but we need those that will continue these institutions and these organizations. If you are what you should be, you don't have to have nobody step aside. People will push you up.
Take the time to share this broadcast right now. Tell your friends it's time to keep it real with Reverend Al. Comment your questions now in the chat or call Reverend Al Sharpton directly on air at 877-532-5797. Now stay tuned for Reverend Al.
This is Reverend Al Sharpton. As you watch the broadcast, support National Action Network. Go to www.nationalactionnetwork.net and be involved. You can join, take your membership right online, www.nationalactionnetwork.net. Getting ready to start the program, but we need you to be part of the movement. This organization has been on the front line. People ask me, why do families call us? Because we never leave them. No justice. No justice. What do we want? What do we want? What do we want? When do we want it? When do we want it?
Friday.
When do we want it? April 17th. Do you know what time it is? Yes, sir. Sharpton's time. And for the next 3 hours, it's time to pretend. It's time to put aside all pretenses, deception, denial, or fronting. The time has come to keep it real on Keeping It Real with Reverend Al Sharpton. A very good afternoon to you all across the country. Good morning to our West Coast listeners. Welcome to those listening on Sirius XM, Channel 126, The Urban View, where talk empowers and becomes action. Coming to you live from our National Action Network corporate headquarters in New York, and it is Exhale Friday. Whatever has caught your eye during the week and you may not have been able to get on, you can let it out, let it out, let it out. Don't take anything into the weekend with you. It may help somebody or inspire some confrontation or conversation. Or go to the message board, like Sandra Starks is on the message board at nationalactionnetwork.net saying, hi from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Well, hi back at you. Good to have you on. Carolyn Pierce Alexander says, we miss you when you're out, Rev. I need to hear that. I love to have my daughter sit in, but I like for folks to tell me they miss me when I'm not here. I appreciate that. And well, I'm here today, so let's get it on. A lot to talk about. The whole question of what's going on with Iran. There's a ceasefire now, and we understand now from news reports that the ceasefire has stopped the blocking of the Strait of Hormuz, and that it's an unstable ceasefire with Lebanon, but it's a 10-day truce, and it's technically holding, but it's shaky because there keeps being incidents. That letting ships through the Strait of Hormuz, but the damage is done. Gas has gone up a little over $1 in the United States. President Trump was on television this morning talking about gas is not going up that much and it's coming back down, which is a lie. And in fact, the oil prices plunged 10% after they said it was going to open up the Strait of Hormuz, but they have already done damage. A lot of people paying a lot higher gas price. Secondly, domestically, former President Barack Obama is calling for Virginians to vote yes. Yes. He did a video before this crucial redistricting election. Now, they're having a redistricting election. Republicans are trying to frame it as something that is good. They even have a distorted campaign going out there saying the KKK wants you to vote yes, when it is in fact black leaders like Obama, like those in Virginia that wants to see that, because what they're trying to do is redraw the district lines there in Virginia, and you need to stop it. I see if F. John Jr. said this is from Louisiana. All right, I see you. And Jeanette Wilder says hello from Huntsville, Alabama. All right. Talking about Alabama, I noticed Congresswoman Congresswoman Sewell, Terry Sewell from Alabama. She came out strong, throwing haymakers at Robert Kennedy Jr., the Secretary of Health and Human Services. And she read, I want y'all to hear this now. She read about his saying, she read his own words to him, that he had, and let me get the exact quote, he had said that blacks could be sent to government-backed wellness farms to be reparented. She wondered, what does reparenting mean? And she went through the whole history of how families was broken down historically and separated. So now you're going to grab us again and reparent us. Let's talk about all this. Of course, the Democrat Analia Majaye is won. The Democrat won in the special election in New Jersey's 11th district. Some people felt it would go Republican because the Democratic incumbent, Mickey, is now the governor, and Mickey Sherrill. And now, but the Democrat has held on to it, and it is very interesting. Magia is supported by the progressives, and the Democrats have won the district under Kamala Harris, so that held. So we can talk about all that. Also, a lot of us were stunned and shocked, as I was, with the news yesterday. The former lieutenant governor of Virginia, he and his wife dead from an apparent suicide, where they're saying he killed his wife. They were in the middle of a divorce. They, I think, were a week away from appearing in court on a divorce proceeding. Something happened, and he shot his wife and then shot himself with 2 teenage children in the house. And again, I don't know the cause of the dispute. I don't think there's any cause to shoot and kill somebody or to kill yourself. But I think that it is very much bringing the issue of mental health forward. I don't care what the circumstances, there's a mental health issue for anybody committing suicide or anyone that is killing a loved one, former loved one that you'd had children with, if y'all couldn't survive as a marriage. And the real concern I also have is the mental health of those teenage children who wake up and their mother and father is dead in the house and the father did the killing. They're going to be traumatized for a long time. Just like I preached the funeral last Monday of this young baby, 7-month-old baby in Brooklyn that was killed by a stray bullet in the middle of a gang shootout. Kaori Christine Patterson Moore. Kaori, 7 months, never made her first birthday. And some gangbangers, as they call themselves, ride by on a moped, shoot into a crowd, apparently trying to shoot at a rival gang is what we understand. Can't shoot straight and shot and killed this 7-month-old baby. and the bullet grazed her 2-year-old brother. This 2-year-old brother is going to grow up traumatized. I said this in my eulogy at the funeral. We as a community, let's talk about this today, have to stop demonizing and making taboo mental health care. There's nothing wrong with seeking help. There's something wrong with not seeking help. Some of y'all have been through it. Some of y'all know people through it. Call and help me out here and talk about the need for us to deal with mental health in our community. With stuff we go through, it's no wonder all of us don't have more of a problem. Some of us do. How do we deal with it? Let's talk about all of this on Exhale Friday. 1-877-532-5797, 1-877-532-5797, Sharpton. Keeping it real. Exhale Friday. Be right back. Keeping it real. This organization has been on the front line. People ask me, why do families call us? Because we never leave them. No justice. No justice. What do we want? What do we want? What do we want? When do we want it? When do we want it? When do we want it? I had a thought this morning that I want to share with you about mentorship. I am able to do a lot of what I do because I had great mentors, but there are correct ways and incorrect ways to mentor people, in my opinion. I was mentored as a boy preacher by Bishop F.D. Washington, one of the great Pentecostal preachers of his time. Then Reverend William Jones, who became my pastor after Bishop Washington died, who was unquestionably in the top 5 black church ministers, theologians. Reverend Jesse Jackson, who I started my activism under his leadership, he and Reverend Jones. And I learned politics directly as a youth director from Shirley Chisholm. So even though I didn't finish college, I had the most unique education in the world from being exposed to giants. But the one thing I learned is as I grew older and people started coming younger than me and wanted me to teach and mentor them, the magic of the mentors I had is they did not want me to be their clone. They wanted me to learn things from them and use my own gifts and talents in my own unique way and let me do things on my own, because they knew that if I flopped in some things, it would teach me for the other things. They'll come and help me once I was down, but they were not going to have me avoid being down. And they were not going to impose themselves on me. Why am I saying that? Because too many mentors want clones, and too many mentees want their mentors to put them on a pedestal. Oh, so-and-so didn't do this for me. Oh, so-and-so didn't open doors for me. If they got to open doors for you, it may mean that they knew you weren't ready to go through those doors. Their job is to prepare you. Your job is to develop your own skills, your own unique ways. And I don't care if it's my daughters, who both have come into their own, or anyone else. I'm not a talent agent. I did not form National Action Network to give people their step up. I formed it to fight for justice for everybody. If talented people get in, it's my job to invest and give them a platform. It's their job to get on the platform and perform and show their ability. Sitting with me today in the office as I talk about it is one of my mentees, Reverend Stephen Marshall. Now, Stephen, you just came around us when you were how old?
11 years old.
11 years old. You just turned 40 and now you're called to the ministry?
Yes, sir. And what do you do in National Action Network?
I help formulate policies, lead in various regions, but most importantly, I senior advisor you on all things from social justice strategies, politics, intergovernmental affairs, you name it, community organizing, all of that stuff.
And I could go through scores of others. My daughter started Huddle. They got Huddles now, which is for young people to meet once a week all over the country. I just saw the video from the Las Vegas National Action Network chapter. Now, when you decided to preach, did I ever tell you to become a preacher?
Not one time.
Who called you to preach?
The Lord.
All right. And did I say go to this school or that school?
No, sir.
Did I open this door, that door? Did I tell you be ready when the door's open?
Always be ready and prepared.
And that's what I'm saying. Get you some young people than you that you can help along the way. But don't be their talent agent. Their talent must speak for themselves. And anybody that grumbles with you about so-and-so didn't do something for them, maybe it's because they didn't feel you were ready, or that they felt if they did it, you wouldn't do it on your own. But we all don't live forever. I want the next generation to speak of me, of National Action Network, and others, the way I speak of Reverend Jones and Bishop Washington and Shirley Chisholm and Reverend Jackson. But I just don't want young people to feel that somebody ought to give them the reins of leadership or give them the reins of business or whatever it is you're in. You need to learn from their journey, get the pearls of wisdom from them, but don't have them do for you, because then it means you can't do it for yourself.
Letting the joy unfold. I'm living my life like it's golden. 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 Golden. Living my life like it's 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 golden.
I wanna talk to you. I wanna talk to you. Just break. I believe that.
Good morning, everybody. I hope the coffee has kicked in by now. I want to start by thanking your leader, the Reverend Al Sharpton, and everyone at the National Action Network for 35 years of standing up for civil rights and opportunity for everyone.
And I couldn't be more grateful for the way that you have blessed the lives of so many, including mine.
As we look today on King Day, let us not forget that we had to struggle to even have this day. They did not wake up one morning and say, let's give a federal holiday to Martin Luther King. People petitioned, people marched. Let us remember now, as we bring our children and grandchildren up the Potomac, that they can see the Washington Monument, the Lincoln Memorial, the Jefferson Memorial, and one memorial that never served as president, but changed this country more than any other American, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
This was an amazing MLK breakfast.
It is truly an honor, and more importantly, this is an important day for us.
I feel incredibly lucky and honored to be in this room on this day, celebrating Dr. King's legacy of civil rights, especially in the moment that we're facing on a national level. It feels like warmth and home being in this room.
So I'm encouraged by today. I'm encouraged that we're getting out, we're protesting, but more needs to be done. We need to lean in.
Let's keep fighting because
I'm your host,
here.
Reverend Al Sharpton. It's XL Friday, talking about what's going on in Iran, talking about what is going on in the redistricting vote in Virginia, talking about what is happening in our community, and talking about the need for mental health emphasis in our community when we see the murder-suicide of the former lieutenant governor of Virginia just yesterday, and how the trauma with those children. You know, Betty Silas is written on the message board, Reverend Sharpton, good morning, correct if incorrect. Much of what we're being affected by is the absence of home teaching, upbringing of parental positive guidance, for the lack of spiritual guidance, moral values being indoctrinated by parents. I don't think that is wrong, Betty. I think that a lot of it is that. I think that a lot of it is other things that can be support systems. O.G. Kelly is saying we see it all the time, how young black people express their emotion through violence instead of moral support or therapy. I agree with O.G. because we, in many ways, stigmatize therapy in the black community. And there's nothing not only wrong, there's a whole lot right with therapy. And I think that one of the things as Nash X Network moves into its new headquarters, I'm going to do is do seminars on this. I'm going to have, it's our space now, our building, because we should not shame people that get therapy. We should shame people that do not get therapy and know that you're a little off. You know what, well, I'm not thinking right. Let me see what's this. I keep having reoccurring dreams or reoccurring thoughts. Where's that coming from? All of us do, and all of us need to deal with that. So let's talk about some of that today. By the way, let me say by way of announcements, don't forget, Saturday and Sunday, Politics Nation with Al Sharpton, live at 5 p.m. Eastern Time on MS Now. And I can tell you that I'm going to be dealing with a lot of issues this weekend from Iran and what's going on with the war that the president won't talk about. I'm going to talk about the vote in Virginia. I'm going to have on the present lieutenant governor of Virginia on, talk about how that redistricting vote is important. I'm going to have on Terry Sewell, the congresswoman from Alabama, on how she jumped Robert Kennedy Jr. on these vaccines and misinformation, and him talking about getting other parenting. We'll have the Attorney General of Minnesota on, talking about the Democrats in the mayoral races. And I'm going to have on Father Larry Dowling, who's a pastor of St. Agatha in the Catholic Church in Chicago. Talk about the president insulting, offending, and attacking the Pope. Got a lot coming at you this weekend. Make sure you watch Politics Nation with Al Sharpton, live at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, both Saturday and Sunday. And then tomorrow, I will be in the morning at the Saturday Action Rally in Harlem at our temporary location, and we're grateful for the temporary location, Mother AME Zion Church, 137th Street, between 7th and Lenox, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Meet me there, beat me there. It is the Saturday after our convention. We really need to talk about next steps, where we going, how we get there, and of course, my message for where we are this week. Saturday Action Rally tomorrow, 9 a.m. to 11. If you're in the tri-state area, right there's a historic church, 137th Street between Lenox and 7th. If you're not in the New York area, you can watch it live on Impact Television, or you can watch it on YouTube/NAN, or you can go to our live stream at nationalactionnetwork.net, and we're on 9 to 11 live. You can watch it all over the world. All right, let's go to the phones. Let me end the week on a good note. I'm going to talk to my dear friend in Chicago, the beloved Miss Eunice. Miss Eunice, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton.
Good afternoon, Rev. How are you today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing well also. I want to start out with Missouri Senator Josh Hawley. He's introduced legislation as of yesterday preventing members of Congress convicted of felonies and sex charges from receiving their taxpayer funded pension. And the president has 34 felonies and sexual assault. I'd like to know what does he have to say about that.
Great question.
Yes. And also, Trump is abusing the pardoning system. Now, I thought you had to show some kind of reform, and he's just going out making blanket pardons, talking about the people of January 6th, called himself getting retribution when they say, were part of this coming together in the first place. And I would just love to know, when will these elected officials stop him? This man is totally out of control. And then moving forward, how was Pam Bundy allowed as general attorney to sit on these Epstein files? And she is known supposedly for specializing in criminal law and human trafficking. So can you explain some of this stuff to me?
Yeah, well, and what is also adding salt in the wound, she did not show up for a testimony the other day. The fact she's no longer Attorney General doesn't immunize her from a congressional subpoena. And they should be moving. I understand there's been a motion to hold her in contempt. You can subpoena anybody, you, me, or anybody, before Congress. So she doesn't have to be the Attorney General to be subpoenaed. And she can be made to testify under oath, facing perjury charges if she lies before Congress, of what she did as Attorney General about those files, exactly what you're talking about, why she acted like she didn't have the files. Then they said one time she said they were on her desk. She needs to be made to come before Congress, or they need to deal with her in contempt, and whatever there is the penalty for contempt, which could include jail. No doubt about it.
It's about time for some of these people to be locked up and file a complaint with the Supreme Court and see what they say about some of this stuff, since they gave Trump carte blanche to do whatever he wants to do. And thank you. And we as a people have to keep fighting and stay on the case. And thank you so much.
We have no choice. You got to fight back because thank you for your call. It's good to hear your voice. Certainly, Miss Eunice. But we got to fight back. Let me tell you something. And I was telling some young people this last night. Just because you choose not to fight back does not mean that they're going to stop fighting us. We didn't provoke the fight. We are responding to the fight that they have decided to initiate against the rights gained by our parents and some of you grandparents. We had fought and got the Voting Rights Act. We had fought and got the Civil Rights Act of 64 and 65. We had fought and get the Open Housing Act. We had fought and stop and frisk with some policing, and fought and got cameras on police. We fought all this. They're fighting to take it back. So it's not like we are, oh man, y'all out there wanting to fight. Like we got an option. If somebody walked up to you in the street and slapped you, you have no option of whether you're in a fight. You're in a fight. The question is how you respond to the fight. Do you stop the next blow? Do you get the police or whatever? We are being assaulted. We didn't start the assault. So let's stop making excuses for being cowards. A lot of us don't fight because we scared. Don't act like, I got a different strategy. Well, what is it? You have a different strategy. You're scared. And if you're scared, sit down, shut up, and don't start talking out your head silly. And let those of us that are not afraid and know how to deal with these issues step forward and fight the fight. Support us or not, but don't get in the way. We'll be right back. Keeping it real. Sharpton. Exhale Friday. Be right back.
We'll hear the radio ads about.
So who is Al Sharpton anyway? Who is this 33-year-old preacher without a church?
A number of black New Yorkers as well. He is little more than a pudgy exhibitionist who can be counted on to show up, bullhorn in hand, at every racial incident.
I often quote Mark Twain saying, the two most important moments in life is the moment you are born and the moment you find out why you were born. I had a very troubling conversation the other day that prompted me to do this little video. Young man that I've known a while came to me and he was crushed. I mean, really crushed, because people were criticizing his work. He's in the ministry, but he's also an actor. And he said he couldn't understand why people were jumping all over, criticizing him, trying to find scandalous and derogatory things about him. And I told him, I said, you very young. You don't know the road I've traveled. They call me everything but a child of God.
A blabbermouth, a loudmouth, too flamboyant, an agitator, a racist,
and I had to know.
Yeah, right.
I was not defined by how others saw me. I was defined by how I saw myself and whether I was being true to myself. Some of you watching this don't like me. And it doesn't matter as long as I know what I'm doing and I like me for being real. So I'm doing this video to say to you, whoever you are and whatever you do, you may not be in ministry or social justice, none of this stuff, but don't live your life worried about opposition or people that don't like you. You can turn that around. Use me as an example. The same people that call me a scam artist, a con artist, a sellout, or racial hustler and all, I kept going. And the people I respected started respecting and publicly embracing my work.
When Coretta Scott King, the widow of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., had this to say about Al Sharpton.
A leader who has protested injustice with a passionate, unrelenting commitment to nonviolent action in the spirit and tradition of Martin Luther King Jr. And I am talking about your leader, our leader, the Reverend Al Sharpton.
The other thing that hasn't changed is the National Action Network's commitment to fight injustice and inequality here in New York City and across America. And that's not only a testament to Reverend Sharpton, it's a testament to all of you who are here tonight.
First and foremost, to Reverend Sharpton. I saw him when he first came on the scene, and I have marveled at his tenacity, at the development of his intellect, and his devotion to our movement, and much he has contributed to the world we are experiencing. I am honored, and I must say that when I had my debate with Dr. King on the issue of the church and religion, he didn't warn me that after his departure, his space would be filled by another preacher, and that preacher would be Al Sharpton.
All you want in life is people that matter to you to say you did all right. And more important,
that you can look in the mirror and say, you did all right.
Thank you, Rev. Thanks for that introduction. Look, we've known each other for a long time. I'm grateful not only for your leadership and partnership, but quite frankly, more importantly, for your friendship. And thanks to all of you, members of our nation's most important civil rights organization.
You have been, over all of your years, such an extraordinary leader. You are a voice of truth, a voice of conscience, a voice of practicality around what we must address and what we can do. And I thank you so much for your friendship.
I remember that most of the youth around Al's age, he was about 12, wanted to be like Connie Hawkins, a great basketball player, legend, or Earl the Pearl, or Clyde Frazier. Al wanted to be like Adam Powell, a powerful preacher with a social justice gospel. He was very close to, at that time, to Reverend William Augustus Jones, powerful preacher and social justice advocate, and Reverend Gardner Taylor stayed right down the street, and Bishop Washington, whose church he came from, and Reverend Sandy Ray. He wanted to be like these giant preachers. He wanted them to have the edge, however, of the King's social justice dimension. He wanted to be like them, now he's one of them. Perhaps taller than most of them because of the risks he has taken and the reward God has given him with his gift. I remember so well that I first escorted him to jail. He was around 13 years old, with the jail fighting the ANP. He was in the lineage of our struggle. He grew up in it. We didn't just see him on TV one night. He didn't happen. He came bottom up, not top down.
It's been a long time coming, but I know.
1968, Dr. Martin Luther King was killed in Memphis, Tennessee. And it has been the commitment of National Action Network to always, in the month he was killed, to let them know they killed the dreamer. Because I have a dream today. When they came from the dream.
You're live, Rev.
Keeping it real, keeping it real. I'm your host, Reverend Al Sharpton, and we're back. 1-877-532-5797, 1-877-532-5797, or go to the message board at www.nationalactionnetwork.net. Patty Simmons is on the message board saying, thank you, Reverend Al, for all you are doing for us. Well, and I thank you, and I thank all that are supporting us in helping to do that. We need your support to keep doing it, but I'm going to keep doing it as long as I can. And I pray to God that's a long time. Let's go to the phones. Let me take Rick in Germany. Rick, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton. Is Rick there? I hear some background.
He just not at the phone.
I don't hear Rick. All right, let me go to Tommy in Chicago, Illinois. Tommy.
A pleasant afternoon to you, Reverend Sharpton, and especially to all of your listening audience. Rev, it's amazing to me that some of these people don't understand the overlay for the underplay. Since when is war turned on and turned off with the blink of an eye the way this is being handled over there in the Middle East? I mean, immediately it comes across the airways. Oh, guess what? Yesterday oil was $200 a barrel, and today it's down, so that's going to give you some relief at the pump. Like that's supposed to change hearts and minds for the absolute criminality that is happening in the United States of America. I mean, Rev, at this point right now, it is absolutely unequivocal, absurd. I mean, the whole time they were supposed to be doing this or that over in Iran, Israel is talking about that ain't got nothing to do with us. Now all of a sudden, that which they say could not be stopped is all of a sudden stopped, and now all of a sudden here comes the news: the strait is open. Pretending. I mean, Rev, seriously. I mean, at this point, we don't even really know what's going on over there, especially when you start getting reports and stuff of misinformation toward the heart and soul of this country, which is our military. And well, for the record, for our military to be engaged without authorization or the proper channels, that in itself ought to be saying something. And then what does this man go and say? Oh, Cuba is next, but I didn't say that. And then talk about the Pope. I mean, for the love of God, if you cannot see this as a conscious-minded individual, it ain't no how dumb, it ain't no are you insane. It's simply the overlay for the underplay for the stupid people, because that's where we at, Rev. Right about now, it's people who are living in reality and people who are just absolutely stupid. And I want to leave you with this. Here in the city of Chicago, the iconic WVON radio station is under attack. I mean, Rev, when I say under attack, you got an individual who will call up, start talking nonsense. The talk show host, in all earnest, is trying to get some sort of clarity. But when you really stop and look at it, well, what is it? Well, do you talk to fools? I don't think you do. And at some point, you recognize one of the reasons why you don't talk to fools is because you cross the street. I think it's about time for a lot of us to cross the street and be still, and let those who know what they're doing, like yourself and all the rest of the fighters that are around in this country, because sooner or later, remember this much: the clock is ticking. Midterms are about to happen. I love you, Rev. God bless you.
Now,
and
wait. Give me some detail. I don't understand what's happening on WVON. You saying that they're attacking them?
Rev, okay, watch this. I'm a MAGA supporter, right? And so obviously, if I call your show and stuff and just start talking absolute nonsense,
right.
One of the things you're going to do is you will let them talk, and then you will start questioning the conversation, but you will not get into a situation where you're spending half an hour or more with idiots, and then after that, well, everyone that calls after that is MAGA lovers, and they're black and they're talking crazy. I mean, so crazy, Reverend, that it's passionate. You know for yourself, some of this stuff is emotional enough that people are unhinged and not thinking clearly. And it's happening here in Chicago, and it's been happening because it's in WBON's archives of these individuals who are doing this stuff and continue to do it. And then guess what? After that, the rest of the individual, if I was an individual calling the show to try to get some clarity of, hey, wait a minute, emergency preparedness. There's some brothers here in the city of Chicago who are talking about emergency preparedness. What should happen if you're bleeding out, the things that we need to do. And what do they turn around and do, Rev? They turn around and start talking crazy to them. They start talking crazy to anything that makes sense for a bunch of people who was thrown in the bottom of the boat, and then they try to add up apples and oranges with yesterday and today. And here's the bottom line. Rev, our children have become murderers. And the reason why they become murderers is because even the word of God says we have forsaken the old ways. And he also says right there in Hosea that, hey, since you won't let me lead you, since you believe in what you believe, hey, that's on you and even your children. Deuteronomy say, curse will you be in the city, curse will you be in the country. Your heart will be messed up, your mind will be messed up, and your children will be messed up. And they got the audacity to sit up and then start talking about the church. Like 1 minute, everybody's against the church, and then the next minute they talking about we need to go to the church to get some understanding. And then you got people on there who's supposed to be for the church, and they talking nuts. I mean, Rev, you cannot make this up. You would have to hear it for yourself, because me telling you, you know what you're going to say? Hey, he's passionate. You know why I'm passionate, Rev? Don't you think people ought to be upset when a 15-year-old child ends up someplace where they shouldn't be and they're dead? I mean, how many more of our kids have to die before we stand up and say lawlessness is lawlessness? It does not matter who it should happen. And then when you say, here's what we ought to do, lock them up. Not lock them up and throw away the key. Lock them up and somebody got to show up and gather them. And when they show up and gather them, let's figure out why is your child somewhere that you don't know where they're at, to the point that here you are down here at the police station. Here's your first warning, your second warning, and it has to be something, because, Rev, at the end of the day, destruction of property, the people in Hyde Park are constantly under terror, and nobody is paying that bill. I mean, if I sound emotional and passionate, it's because I have lived this stuff. And that's why I came to say to you, I apologize and everything else, because never in my heart, in my mind, did I ever believe that being over in now and coming back here to America and seeing how and what we have reduced to, would I ever sit back and allow, Rev, I see the faces of the people that I serve with, Rev, not dying, not death and destruction, but I just see their faces, young people, Rev, and here, the people who go to war are not left behind for individuals to completely ignore them. And that's all I'm saying, Rev. The radio station in WBON is under attack. And if you ever tune in indiscreetly and listen to it, you'll hear it for yourself. I love you. God bless you. And if there ever was a moment for black people in the United States of America to get one thing straight, I don't care how you want to go about how you got here or what happened and this, that, and the rest. Remember this much. We came in the bottom of a boat.
That's right.
And from that day to this day, watch this, we're still talking about the first black. And that ought to be enough to turn a Negro black. I love you, Doc.
All right. Thank you for your call. Wow, that's a lot of information. Let me read off the message board. Rodney Jones, Mayor Rodney Jones, the mayor of Queensbridge Houses, say, I follow attorney Augustus Corbett and his YouTube, The Defiant Lawyers. Okay, I got to check that out. And he had a critique of how you handled the young person. I was there and agree with everything you said. All right, thank you for your call. I think, do we have time to go before we go to break? All right, let's go to Frank. Let's stay in Chicago. Frank on the west side. My ace Boone Coon. On the west side, he says it's the best side.
Oh, I can tell I've been missing in action. You kind of messed it up a little bit. But you got it right. I am your ace Boone. You my pilot now. Lord have mercy, brother. There's so much going on. You can almost make a cartoon out of it. It's just so comical going with Trump. But I really want to call in and excel on something because it hit me pretty close to my pet peeve. And that's what's going on about family structure. Rev, this is one horror show. This man in Virginia. Okay, first he goes out there and he commits adultery over and over. Wife had to hang with him, but he's not going to work. He violated marital vows. Now he comes to reality. He's not man enough to go out in life and conduct himself like a married man. Okay? Now he realizes he can lose everything. Now he's not man enough to accept the fact that the worst thing that can happen to a man, ladies, this is coming to y'all too. The worst thing that can happen to a man in his life, when I can witness, is to lose the opportunity to be and remain the male dominant figure in your children's life as they're growing up. Okay? That's the worst thing that happens to a man, second only to death. Ladies, listen to me. These men, young to middle age, are not accepting the loss of their children the way previous generation did coming out doing out the 1960s. They killing you sisters, okay? The sister the other day, she hit the nail around the head from the message board when she said that people living together and they're going through divorce. I wish they would stop that. That sister's so right, okay? You got to protect yourself. Like, you never know what a person will do. And this goes both ways, what they will or won't do until they come to that bridge and got to cross it. Now he turns around. He can't handle the fact he can lose everything. He screwed up, and now he want to kill her.
Hold 1 minute.
And himself.
I got to take my break. I want us to talk about this because we got to deal with these issues and deal with them forthrightly. Let's take a break. Be right back. Sharpton, keeping it real. Be right back. Keeping it real.
It's been a long time coming, but I know
1968, Dr. Martin Luther King was killed in Memphis, Tennessee. And it has been the commitment of National Action Network for always, and the month he was killed, to let them know they killed the dreamer.
I have a dream today.
They can't kill the dreamer. Robert Culp used to do a show with Bill Cosby, I Spy, and he did a documentary on breadbasket, Robert Culp.
Oh, wow.
You need to see that documentary. It's great.
Absolutely.
I lived this. I didn't read this. I was there.
You true to this?
I'm true to this.
Not new to this.
I ain't new to this.
Vote to phone true.
He was, Jack O'Dell was one of the guys that Kennedy warned Dr. King about. Say he was a communist. Jack O'Dell and Stanley Levinson. And Reverend brought him in. Nobody else in the movement would deal with Jack. Reverend brought him in.
Oh, yeah. Sure.
Just us.
Just us.
But there's stories behind all of it. It didn't just happen.
But I am somebody. I may be on welfare, but I am somebody. I may be in jail, but I am somebody. I may be an educator, but I am somebody. I am black.
Some of you forget where you come from and forget how you got there and act like you got there because you were qualified or that you had a good resume. But some of us had to pay a price for your resume to even be read. Some of us had to take nights in jails and licks upside the head or shut out of boardrooms like Byron so you could walk down red carpets and act like you got there by yourself. So I received this award with a special place in my heart and on my shelf because I'm getting it from a freedom fighter who never forgot where he came from and how he got there. Yes, we've come a long way. We've had now a black president and now a black vice president, but we still can get shot down and have to march to get a case in court. We still can get shut out of boardrooms. We're still doubly unemployed in a good economy. So we're gonna have to keep marching. And I thank not only my family, a mother that raised me by herself, but I thank that lady at the end of the march that knows she won't be on TV that night and knows her name will never be in the paper, but she believed in me enough to get at the end of the line and make me look good. Because Dr. King used to say, if you call a march and no one shows up, you just going for a walk. And I want to thank those that marched with me. 32 years ago, here in Los Angeles, we marched. And then many years later, with George Floyd and others, we're still marching. And I'm going to keep marching. I'm going to keep agitating. And I'm going to keep going. Until we don't have to do it anymore. Eddie, known you a long time. Mariah, Chris, and your kids. And I promise you this, the only thing that I really live for is I get up with this dream that every bigot, every racist, everyone in this country that hates will say, damn, he's up again. And I think that is extremely important about the funding. But I also want to add how they're changing what can be taught. You have states outright saying you can't teach black history and you can't teach certain other histories and the curriculum. You have this administration that is literally taking out exhibits from the Smithsonian. So we have not only an education problem in terms of resources, we have an education problem in terms of curriculum and what people are being taught. So I have one grandchild, 6-year-old. When he gets to high school, it may be just against the law for him to learn about certain parts of American history, which includes blacks. We want to talk about slavery. We want to talk about the good side of America. Well, what does that mean? That's not history. Everything was not good. And I think that that is the threat that we've got to fight, which is why we've got to fight with the courts and the streets, because they're literally changing the textbooks as we go. As they do that, they change the opportunities, because then the fight against affirmative action is not having access to these institutions and telling these institutions, this whole fight around DEI, in which they did, started in Harvard with a black woman president. Started with them saying you can't teach diversity in an Ivy League school like Harvard. It didn't start in Little Rock at the high school. This fight, this time, was Harvard. And they went from there on. And I think that we've got to have the same resistance. If they could fight in the 50s, that ACP would defense forces together and deal with the question from Little Rock in terms of desegregation, then we that are far more educated, far more economically secure personally, have no excuse in the age of what they did in Harvard not to be standing up back in this stuff. Thank God I was blessed to have both in my life. Both historic, strong figures. But if I misuse them and listen to not only figures that are not as historic as them, but figures that had nothing to do with the calling and purpose of my life, I would live confused. I'd be double-minded. I'm clear. And what I want you to do is be clear. Clear on who you are and why you are. And a lot of that will be exposed to you and others by who you are around and who you allow to enter your head. Keep people at a distance that only have a distant and unclear vision of who you are and who you are supposed to be. They could be your blood relatives, but they could not be the ones that accompany you toward what you ought to be about tonight. Everybody good to you, Reverend good for Sharpton, you. and we are back. Everybody.
1-877-532-5797.
1-877-532-5797. It is Exhale Friday. Let's go right back to Frank. Frank, you were talking about what happened in Virginia. Go ahead.
Yes, a horror story, and there's more to come. And this isn't the first one. We've been having things like this happening for the last 5 years. We have now in Chicago and Chicago area. There's one guy who ran and murdered his ex-wife a week exactly before it was finalized. Just get E with her. Sisters, you gotta protect yourself. You gotta start thinking. My advice be the same advice as those in regards to concealing carry. We see what happened up until the cops. We're concealing carry. We have our card on us and our firearm on us. That person ends up dead. Don't tell them. You gotta tell them that. I refuse to answer any of your questions without the presence of my attorney. Well, the same mentality should be applied if you're gonna file for a divorce. Do not tell them. Don't tell them. File for your divorce. Okay? You get out the house. Take the children. Let them come home one day. You gone. Your stuff gone. The children gone. And their stuff gone. Now, he gets served with the papers. And if you get any kind of negative physical reaction, intimidation, now you file for restraining order for yourself, protection on your children. It can come from you, your job, your children, or the school. Okay? You will lock them up. You got to start using your head and stop thinking this won't happen, this can't happen. You never know. Okay? You never know. Protect yourself. That's so right. Get out that house. You got the children. The house going to come back to you, the car, and the child support payment going to come to you. Okay? Do not say nothing. Go and do what you got to do. From what I understand, this guy had plenty of opportunity, Rev, to straighten his life off, straighten himself off. He had a promising career, right? She didn't try to help him. He turns around and he murders her. Reverend, I just can't see it. I just cannot see it. When my first wife, Reverend, I'm going to hop off after this, y'all. My first wife threatened to take my only son from me because one semester short of graduating from Chicago University, she got like, paranoid, panic, insecure. She thought me graduating would be too much to offer another woman. She had too much competition. So she did. She was real serious. If I enroll for next semester, she would take my child and leave me. I stepped 5 feet back from mom, called my mom, said, I got to come home. I want to join the military. I said, this is what's going on. Well, your room never been rented out. I went home. Okay? It took a strong man to do that.
Yeah.
All of us are not that strong.
I agree.
Okay?
I agree.
I stepped back.
And let me say this, Frank. It is very, very helpful as you share this, because I think a lot of us don't want to talk about these things, and therefore people are not guided to what to do. And all of us are going to have some domestic situation we face sooner or later.
That's right. That hurted me so bad, Rev. Okay, I would have left her and my son for all the tea in China. I wanted to graduate college so she would only be working because she wants to. Okay, that was my plan, but she just was. We was both young, early 20s. She 19, I'm 21, and I was serious, but she just panicked, and that like broke my heart. These days, sisters, the what I call the Jack Whip type mentality, that's festering in the small but deadly criminal element in our community. That came to be because a lot of them out there have lost their children. And some, a lot of them, they done it wrong, but they didn't protect themselves from that. But still now, they hold her responsible, and they do not care. Like the little child that got shot right now, the little 7-month-old child, these killers do not care who or what get in the way of their firepower. It's even babies now. It's even unborn now. Black women. You see what I'm saying? In a way, we create this thing. We can fix this, but we got to take the right step. But right now, we're doing this right here. Protect yourself, so don't tell them. Get out the house and go and get rid of them and protect yourself. Thank you, Reverend Al. This really hurts.
All right. Thank you for your call. And let me go to Disco Brian. Brian in Philadelphia, WURD. Brian.
Oh, Rev, I hate to add to the pile of intensity today, but I kind of have to. First, before I go there, though, I want to publicly thank Mayor Rodney Jones for taking a selfie with me at the convention. That was a highlight. As was meeting freedom fighter Carolyn Ruff from Chicago, who we have the honor of interviewing tomorrow for our YouTube interview series. Stacking up these interviews, Rev. It's exciting. I wanted to ask you before I get to the meat of it, did you see that a Democrat, Rev, from Maine, a Representative Golden, voted across the aisle with Republicans in the House yesterday to keep Trump's war going? Did you see that?
No, I did not.
Yeah. Well, let's just let that sink in as we consider Maine's upcoming Senate primary with Plattner dominating in all the polls. And also,
now
please don't look away from...
She's in the primary.
Yeah.
Explain to our listeners. And she did what now?
No, it's not a woman. It's Jared Golden.
Oh, it's a man. Okay, I know. All right, I know Golden. Okay,
yeah,
and he's running.
Yeah, no, he's not running coming up. He's actually not running for his primary. But he voted with Republicans yesterday to keep Trump's war going, to keep giving money to Trump
Golden
for the war.
Is went against Democratic leadership on that. And I think that
that's correct.
I think that people ought to remember that when he does face a potential primary, because I don't see. First of all, it may be a party thing that he went against leadership, but it is a moral thing that he's supporting this ongoing war that no one has justified or even explained.
Yeah. Rev, it's again, I think, because he is not, I checked, and he is not running again for the Maine primary. He's dipping out of Congress. Yeah. So what I'm just saying is we have to be mindful of Maine, given the prominence of Plattner dominating the polls right now. That's the guy with the Nazi tattoo, in case the listeners have forgotten, the guy who posted all kinds of horrifying sexist and anti-Semitic and racist comments on Reddit for years, that has been endorsed by Elizabeth Warren, Bernie Sanders, and Ruben Gallego running for the Senate in Maine. And also, Rev, Obama's former speechwriters who are now part of weekend programming on MS Now, those Pod Save America Johns, are doing nothing but praising Plattner, the Senate candidate in Maine. It's really, really disgusting. And in good news, though, Rev, if you or your listeners are in the mood for comedians who do as Pryor and Carlin used to do back in the day, who take shots at the white male bigot power structure instead of sucking up to it, please acquaint yourself with a brilliant black comedian extraordinaire. Have you heard of Phoebe Robinson, Rev?
I've heard the name, yes. I'm not familiar with their comedic work.
Oh, my Lord, Rev. After you're off today, if you have time, you should go onto Instagram. She takes aim at Dave Chappelle. And for anyone still clinging to Chappelle, and I know there are people in your audience who, in the message board, who say he's the GOAT, he's the greatest of all time, I would like to invite y'all to allow Phoebe Robinson to guide you to the purple rain. You can find her on Instagram. And what I mean by that is to guide you out of the darkness of Chappelle, who has buddied up to Elon Musk and, was silent in 2024 during the election season, didn't take a position. And I just want to admit something here, Rev, and I hope that you'll forgive me for what I'm going to share with you and your audience about how lost I was back when I was a Chomsky-worshipping leftist in my early 20s and far too long into my adult life, especially before I found this sacred program. You see, Rev, I was once a big Chappelle fan for all the obvious reasons back in the Bush era. Chappelle's Rick James and Prince skits were hilarious. They still are. His blind black Klansman skit, that was funny, I guess. But as I reflect on it now, Rev, I'm starting to wonder if they were all that funny. You see, the white leftist comrades that I hung out with back in Seattle when I was in community college and when I was going to University of Washington, back when I was a big Chappelle fan in the early 2000s. See, all of us thought we were so down with the civil rights movement. We convinced ourselves that it was okay for us to even quote Chappelle's best punchlines, like F yo couch, N-word, and to imitate his skits. You see, Rev, those people I hung out with, who I was looking for community as a white person in a very white town, and so I found these friends at anarchist bookstores and in my liberal arts classes.
All right, wait a minute, wait. I got to take my break. We'll come right back so you can finish. Let's take a break. Be right back. Keeping it real. Sharpton, XL Friday. Be right back. Keeping it real. This organization has been on the front line. People ask me, why do families call us? Because we never leave them. No justice! No justice! What do we want? What do we want? What do we want? When do we want it? When do we want it? When do we want it?
Reverend Sharpton, good to see you here tonight. By our count at WMUR, you've only been here once in 2003.
You counted wrong.
Okay.
You must be using the Florida Republicans count.
Nevertheless, as far as your visits are concerned, you have been here far less often than your colleagues here who have gone through the paces, met with the voters, done the grassroots style of campaigning that the voters of New Hampshire are expecting and looking for. Why shouldn't those very same voters not think of you as disrespecting them by not coming here and doing the same thing?
Well, I think, first of all, I've been here several times last year and this year. I intend to be here. In fact, I was to preach here Sunday, and the snow stopped me. I intend to be here between now and the primary. And I think that's any more than any of us. There are many places that some of my colleagues have not been to often at all. I think that people go and campaign based on their resources and their availability. So I think that that is not something that they should read into any of us about any particular primary. I also want to address your first question. As a minister, I think that you can have a personal motivation of religion, but you should not try to act like your religion is something that dictates where people ought to go. I pray every day. I can assure you in my talks with God, he is not a registered member of the right wing of the Republican Party.
Today, many of those same challenges still remain that Reverend Al Sharpton stood on the 2004 Democratic primary debate stage and spoke about, a clear reminder that the work is far from over. For over 35 years, the commitment to justice has remained strong. The fight continues, the voice is steady, and the mission moves forward.
Many people cannot focus because they have not really come to terms with their calling and life purpose. In order to focus, you must also be clear on what you're focusing on. So if you're not clear on your purpose, if you're not clear on your life's calling, then focus on seeking that. Because if you just read the ways and roads you traveled that you didn't even choose, that were sort of just laid out for you by God, in that it's telling you, speaking to you about what your purpose is and what you were born to do and be. I learned the things that I didn't plan had to be planned by God, and God's plan was directed toward God's purpose in my life. And I focus on that. Not focus on what others do, not focus on how well they're doing or bad they're doing, but focus on whether I'm in line and aligned with what I'm supposed to be about. And in order to move straight ahead, you have to be focused on the path you're running on. Keep the dream alive on Wall Street.
Yeah, I'm out at Brooklyn. Now I'm down in Tribeca, right next to De Niro. But I'll be hood forever, I'm the new Sinatra. And since I made it here, I can make it anywhere. Yeah, they love me everywhere. I used to cop in Harlem, all of my Dominicanos right there up on Broadway. Pulled me back to that McDonald's, took it to my stash spot, 560 State Street. Catch me in the kitchen like a Simmons whipping pastry. Cruising down A Street, off-white Lexus, driving so slow, but BK is from Texas. Me, I'm out that Bed-Stuy, home of that boy Biggie. Now I live on Billboard, and I brought my boys with me. Say what up to Tata, still sipping my top. Sitting courtside, Knicks and Nets give me high five. I be spiked out, I could trip a referee. Tell by my attitude that I most definitely from.
It's so high off the ground, sending for an angel to bring me high. Girl, where did you come from? Got me so undone. Gazing your eyes got me saying, what a beautiful lady. Go with to maybe releasing my heart and it's feeling amazing. There's no one else that matters. You love me, and I won't let you fall, girl.
Don't get it twisted. Everybody hollering loud ain't saying something. We need activists that are at large, but we need those that will continue these institutions and these organizations. If you are what you should be, you don't have to have nobody step aside. People will push you up.
You ready, sir?
Yep.
You're live.
Keeping it real. Keeping it real. Keeping it real. I'm your host, Reverend Al Sharpton. Let's go back to Disco Brian. Go ahead, Disco Brian.
Thank you, Rev. Before the break, I was just talking about how back when I was a Chappelle-loving, Noam Chomsky-reading leftist, my white progressive comrades, and that's what they were. They weren't friends. They were comrades, because that's what you have when you're a leftist. You don't have real friends. You have people who are in a cult with you. But people like that and I convinced ourselves that because we were on the right side of history, that we had permission to join Chappelle in mimicking racist caricatures as satire. And I have come to see over the course of the past, decade or so, just how morally warped and politically dangerous that was. And Rev, back then we were Nader voters. We hated the corporatists. We hated the establishment. And I started distancing myself from these people during the Obama era. And by 2016, all of these people had refused to support Hillary and, of course, continued to refuse to support Biden or Harris. And here's where it gets difficult, okay? All the stuff Mamdani and his favorite politician, Bernie Sanders, hates, they hated. Because we white Gentiles, we were trained by Jewish media figures like Amy Goodman, who interviewed black progressives like Angela Davis and Cynthia McKinney. And so since we watched that, we thought that since we support all those people by supporting, Democracy Now! And progressive media, where the Jewish progressive hosts interviewed progressive black people, that it was okay. And Rev, now we see where that sentiment has landed. We got Theo Vaughn selling out amphitheaters all over the country, training white boys who did not, like me, grow up revering Dr. King, who did not grow up on soul and funk and disco, on James Brown or Prince or Public Enemy or Spike Lee. And now these people selling out amphitheaters with their popular podcasts are just stupid. Their whole appeal is that they're dumb, because stupid has now become funny. See, Rev, if you don't know nothing, then you can screw up and make bigoted statements because you're just stupid, see? And that's what gets people to laugh at Theo Vaughn. So Chappelle was as edgy and as comedy gold as Howard Stern's Clarence Thomas skit was back in 1991 when Thomas was going through the Senate vetting process.
Right.
But unlike Howard, though, Rev, Dave Chappelle has not sought therapy. He's with Elon Musk, and he thinks he doesn't need therapy. And unlike Howard, who did go to therapy, who ended up endorsing Biden and then endorsed Harris and had both of them on his show and encouraged his audience to vote for them, as I said earlier, Chappelle stayed silent in the lead up to Election Day in 2024. And so, Rev, throughout the Trump era, Dave Chappelle and his friends have done nothing but break my heart. And instead of turning his satire on the rise of white nationalism under Trump, what did Chappelle do? He decided to punch down on trans folk, and of course the community that is most vulnerable to violence and suicide in the United States are black trans women. And so he just didn't realize or didn't care that he was doing that, was making them an even bigger target. And watching his repeated tirades against trans folk without ever reading a book about the history of the black LGBTQ movement was a deal breaker for me. And then in 2023, he brought Elon on stage in San Francisco to give him a hug. And so, you know, it's like he not only broke my heart, but he's spitting on the heart that he's broken. And then just a few days ago, he posted footage of himself enjoying himself at a rapper's concert who dropped the song Heil Hitler a few months ago. So again, Rev, I encourage you, I encourage your audience, now is a great time, if you haven't, to switch up your comedy diet. Check out Phoebe Robinson. Check her out. And Rev, if you have any thoughts about what we can do, you know, as people who are really sick of the rise of this MAGA movement and how it's impacting marginalized communities, how do we help people recognize when so-called edgy satire is no longer liberating anybody, but is instead feeding the same moral carelessness and cultural drift that leaves people vulnerable to bigotry and nihilism and anti-democratic politics?
Well, I think that one way that we deal with it is that we need to express publicly our feelings and make everybody put their hands on the table and their cards on the table and be honest about what they're saying and what is the basis of what they're saying. Inconsistencies cannot be excused, particularly when they're not even being explained, because then they suggest a lack of integrity or a lack of commitment. So I think that a public accounting is what is necessary. Now, if somebody privately says or does something, and people will say, well, no, you need to talk to them and get clarity, and maybe we can turn them around, or maybe they're right and you're wrong. My position is that if you state something public, you open the door for people to correct you in public, because it is not just you're dealing with, then you're dealing with everyone that heard what was said, and if you leave it lingering out there, somebody may think that that is the correct position. So that's my position on that, Brian. Thank you for your call. Let me go to Todd.
Thank you.
Let me go to Todd in Cleveland, Ohio, WERE. Todd.
Hey, Reverend Al Sharpton.
Yes, sir.
So the 7-month-old baby that was murdered and the brother that was grazed and maybe anybody else that got shot, have the contributors to this crime all been brought into custody? And if so, have they confessed?
There's 2 of them that have been arrested, and I think one of them has made a statement that he was involved, but that he claimed he was not the shooter. The other one that was arrested, we assume, is the shooter, and I think the grand jury is supposed to do formal charges this coming week.
Okay. If you remember, taking into consideration all that you had to deal with, when the update comes in as to how this is going along, could you bring it up on air?
Absolutely.
So Planned Parenthood classes prior to conception is what I'm calling about today. And it actually lends itself to the topic of what you were saying about improving on our mental healthiness, good healthiness. In Cleveland, They're closing down 29 public school buildings at the end of this school year. In Atlanta, Georgia.
Wait a minute. They're closing down 29 school buildings, meaning schools, people that are, where students go. These are not empty school buildings.
Yeah, they're closing the buildings down.
Okay.
They're not going to be in Atlanta. They're closing down 16, maybe 7 at the end of this school year, for the same reasons. There's been a drastic, steady, and those words do go together here. A drastic, steady decrease in population of students in the schools.
Right.
Cleveland's lost 50% of their population in 20 years, and they're down. They're claiming they have 30,000 students. I don't know if they have that many, but those buildings are public buildings, and they can be used for good public use. So
hold 1 minute. I got to take the break. I want to hear this. We'll be right back. Keeping it real. Exhale Friday, 1-877-532-5797. Be right back.
Letting the joy unfold. I'm living my life like it's golden. 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 Golden. Living my life like it's 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 golden.
Keep hope alive. Keep hope alive. Keep hope alive on tomorrow night and beyond. Young America, hold your head high now. We can win. You must never stop dreaming. Face reality, yes, but don't stop with the way things are. Dream of things as they ought to be. Dream. Face pain, but love, hope, faith, and dreams will help you rise above the pain. Use hope and imagination as weapons of survival and progress, but you keep on dreaming, young America. Dream of peace. Peace is rational and reasonable. War is irrational in this age and unwinnable. Dream of teachers who teach for life and not for living. Dream of doctors who are concerned more about public health than private wealth. Dream of lawyers more concerned about justice and a judgeship. Dream of preachers who are concerned more about prophecy than profiteering. Dream on the high road with sound values. You must never surrender to inequality.
That I want to end.
He talked about the dry bones in the valley.
Don't take that.
The only reason that the wind could blow life into the bones is because at some point they had to be connected. If the wind had blown into a disconnected body, it still wouldn't have worked. So before he prophesied to the wind, they had to first get the foot bone to connect to the ankle bone, and the ankle bone to the calf bone, and to the knee bone, and the knee bone to the thigh bone. If we are to prophesy to the wind, we must first connect this body. We must connect Eddie Long to Farrakhan and Cornel West to Elders and Lowry to Sharpton. If we can connect this body, then God will blow the breath of life into our community. But as long as we are disconnected, the wind can't blow because it's blowing on disconnected dry bones. But the good news is that we are the children of people that have been through worse than this, and we're still here. So even though I get despondent, I don't ever get depressed, because I want the world to know you won't beat us, because we're the children of those that took the worst form of slavery and brutality that ever lived, that ever existed. Our parents survived the Middle Passage. Only the strong got here, and then we lost our name, our culture, our religion, and we're still here. But you don't know who we are. We're the children of Chaka Zulu. We're the children of Mary McLeod Bethune. We're the children of Marcus Garvey. We're the children of Martin Luther King. We'll be here. We were first, and we'll be last. We know who we are.
In London, yeah. We've got many problems there. We need you over our side. Yeah, you're invited anytime, please. Whenever you want to come.
There we go. Dice! What's up, Doc?
So we are in not a political dilemma, we are in a moral dilemma. And if the black church does not come with a prophetic voice, then who's going to do it? We can go through all the data, all the statistics, all we're going through in the workshops, but the question is, where is the action going to be? We all believe in Jesus. Jesus didn't teach theology, he healed people. And they learned the nature of
Keeping it real. Keeping it real.
We got to heal this nation.
I am your host. Reverend Al Sharpton is Exhale Friday. Let's go back. Let's go back to Frank. Let's go to Chicago.
Todd.
I'm sorry, Frank, I said. They still got Frank up on the board. Todd, I was talking
Todd.
Yeah, Todd from Cleveland. Day late, but he's got an important point. But I'm used to him on Thursdays. Go ahead, Todd.
Okay, you hear me okay?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so could you remind me the 7-month-old girl's name before we get off air so I can kind of keep following the story myself?
It's Kaori, Kaori, Patterson Moore.
Kaori Patterson Moore. Okay. So they're closing down, and I sent in a proposal, and I got the facts on the conditions of the buildings that I'm focusing on. But Jennifer and I and you have talked about Planned Parenthood classes prior to conception before on air. This is something I'm in the pursuit of getting done. And since 2 of these buildings are of interest to me in Cleveland that are being closed down because of reduced population, I believe they'd be good use. And this should be focused on 5 things, not necessarily in this order, but all in the course. human cellular biology, financial literacy, civics, opportunity and time management, and family history. And this would be course set up for people who do want to be parents at someday, or they have some ambition they think may occur for them at some point in their life, and they want to get some general information that they can apply to the specifics of their own life. Civics education as applies to parenting, because as your rights and privileges are given to you in our society, they have specific focuses, and there are focuses in civics education that are surrounding the benefits of being a parent. Financial literacy, because it costs a lot. And the first expense starts from the first penny that was spent once she's conceived all the way through. And then human cellular biology. The better that you know about what it takes to build a better brain and body, the better off you are if you appreciate the knowledge, the facts that you gain in order to be better pursuer of being a parent. Opportunity and time management. You have no means to possess time. Nobody does. But you can possess your opportunities. And there's a lot of opportunity and time management that comes into being a parent. And then family history. It gives you a better sense of self, for yourself as a dad, for the mom as a mom, and for the child and children growing up that were conceived by these people, to know something in detail about how they collectively were brought to here by those people that came before them and the contributors of them. So planning parenthood prior to conception classes is a good idea for the use of these buildings. I sent my request in to the public schools. I designated 2 buildings. I'm with a large group of people that do have the funding for this. The classes will be between 12 and 14, no more than 14, no little than 12. 3 classes per building, and 2 instructors per class. And we got a general idea what it's going to cost. And I've already got the information on what it's been costing the school system to run the 2 buildings that are in the possession of the school system now. And hopefully, these 8-month classes will be mainly focused on getting people from 0 through the age of 22, and hopefully at the end of a 2-year period, because it's going to be an 8 to 9 month course, we'll be able to turn them back over to the school system for control, because they'll have a better idea on how to manage those buildings as public schools.
Now, the funding for this is coming from where?
It's going to be private funding.
Private funding, okay.
Yeah, we're trying to get an idea of what the school's going to charge to lease the buildings out, if anything at all, and then move forward from there. Now, I repeat, I personally believe these buildings should be maintained as public schools for children, but if the decision's been made and they're going to be empty, then they should be put in use for the better good of the common good, and planning parenthood prior to conception is a good idea. It's a good, healthy mental pursuit for those that want to do this with their lives.
All right, now are the instructors going to be paid?
Yes, everybody's going. We're putting together a budget. Got a general idea that per building, this is going to be about $1.7 million, including security, landscaping, maintenance, and janitorial work.
Are you going to be public on the donors that underwrite this?
Yes.
Okay.
You have. Well, the answer to the question is yes, but I think you have to do that by using a public building in the city of Cleveland anyway. But the answer is yes.
The reason why I'm saying that is because we did an initiative several years ago, and some of those that were politically toxic to us wanted to fund some education program because they agreed with some of what we were doing in education, but they had strings attached and we would not do it. So that's why I know that there is some places where we may agree on some things, but the deal incurs the decision on, no, I'm not going to let you buy me. We can collaborate on this particular issue. So that's why I was saying I wanted to be sure we know exactly what we're talking about here.
I'm with you on that, and it's good that you brought it up because I left 2 things out. Absolutely, no political party bias, and absolutely no religious bias will be allowed in these courses.
Okay.
So we're trying to get it done. And if you talk to so many people, man, you may remember me bringing this up about a year or so ago in conversation with you and Jennifer that it would be a good idea if we spent some public dollars on planning parenthood prior to conception, because I kept making the crack that Planned Parenthood don't plan parenting. So how about some Planned Parenthood classes prior to conception? You may remember that, but
I think
so
I
we're gonna
remember
see how it works out.
I don't remember the specifics, but I do remember that little soundbite you just said. So we had that conversation. All right, thank you for your call. Let me go to Bertha. Let me stay in Cleveland. Bertha, W-E-R-E. Bertha.
Good afternoon, Reverend. How are you?
I'm doing very well. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Reverend, I have my beef is about this resident calling himself Christ-like, and we're in an unwarranted war. Our children are being sent over, and being it's really something. I'm just wondering how the evangelical and these black supporters that supported him, how do they feel how he's portraying himself now? He's Christ-like, all right, and I call it Antichrist.
Yeah. Well,
and what he needs, what needs to be done now, the upcoming elections, we need to constantly show, do like the Republicans do. They constantly show their little negative advertisements and whatever what they want to show to keep us from voting for them. So what I would like to see is that we keep that picture in mind and show it every time our election comes up, and let these people know exactly how these people are going, because this man is out of his mind. And for the black supporters, I'm just surprised at them, but they remind me of the old-fashioned Negroes who were at the time years ago, before our time, that they supported those slave owners and turned their own people in to keep in good with the slave owners. So I call these black supporters Trump's flunkies. That's exactly what they are. They're his flunkies. And if they don't realize now that he cares nothing about anything other than white, cares nothing about them, and why they can't see this, I cannot understand it for my life. I cannot understand it, why they cannot see it. But we just got to get out and vote and encourage these children, these young people, because they feel like they're being neglected. I work with them. I work for the polls. And I work for some of the young people who are sitting next to me. And one of the young ladies, she works all the time, but she says that the adults don't pay them any attention. They don't care anything about them, so they don't really want. But I had to encourage her to vote. She voted, but she's very, very despondent about the way things are going and how this man is being let go for everything he does. He's getting away with everything. He gets away with every single thing. And what I don't understand, we got a felon in the White House who gets away with everything. And it just doesn't make sense. And most of these black men that supports him, I believe that they are formerly abused men who are abused by their wives and not their wives, their mothers. And they turned against all black women. For some reason.
Well, why do you feel that?
Because when they say, like that one man that called, he against all black women, there's something wrong there. There's something wrong, and I think that goes back to their mother. They're mad with their mother, so they're mad with all of us. It doesn't make sense, and I want to let everyone know that the first person that you were educated by was your mother.
Yeah.
That's the first.
No, you're absolutely right on that, Bertha. I think, again, I don't think all men that are MAGA speak against women. I think that their policies are. But the particular caller you're talking about, I think that it was either his mother or some woman hurt him in a relationship. But I think he's blaming all black women because of some encounter. In my opinion, I have no evidence of that. In my opinion, he had either with his mother or some woman hurt him bad that he just taking out on all black women.
Yeah, and for the man that called and asked where I came from my mama.
I like that. I like that a lot. All right. Thank you, brother. Always good to hear your voice. Let me go to Ron in Maryland. Ron? Oh, wait a minute, Ron. I'll get you right after the break. Keeping it real. Sharpton. Be right back.
I want to talk to you. I want to talk to you. Just break. I believe that.
Good morning, everybody. I hope the coffee has kicked in by now. I want to start by thanking your leader, the Reverend Al Sharpton, and everyone at the National Action Network for 35 years of standing up for civil rights and opportunity for everyone.
And I couldn't be more grateful for the way that you have blessed the lives of so many, including mine.
As we look today on King Day, let us not forget that we had to struggle to even have this day. They did not wake up one morning and say, let's give a federal holiday to Martin Luther King. People petitioned, people marched. Let us remember now as we bring our children and grandchildren up the Potomac, that they can see the Washington Monument, the Lincoln Memorial, the Jefferson Memorial, and one memorial that never served as president, but changed this country more than any other American, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
This was an amazing MLK breakfast.
It is truly an honor, and more importantly, this is an important day for us.
I feel incredibly lucky and honored to be in this room on this day, celebrating Dr. King's legacy of civil rights, especially in the moment that we're facing on a national level. It feels like warmth and home being in this room.
So I'm encouraged by today. I'm encouraged that we're getting out, we're protesting, but more needs to be done. We need to lean in.
And let's keep fighting because the job is not done here. And I just feel so honored to get this award. It's not about getting an award, it's about doing the work. And let's keep up with the work.
Thank God I was blessed to have both in my life. Both historic, strong figures. But if I misused them and listened to not only figures that are not as historic as them, but figures that had nothing to do with the calling and purpose of my life, I would live confused. I'd be double-minded. I'm clear. And what I want you to do is be clear. Clear on who you are and why you are. And a lot of that will be exposed to you and others by who you are around and who you allow to enter your head. Keep people at a distance that only have a distant and unclear vision of who you are and who you are supposed to be. They could be your blood relatives, but they could not be the ones that accompany you toward what you ought to be about tonight. Everybody good to you ain't good for you. Everybody that makes you laugh sometimes end up making you a joke.
So we just wanted to greet you all and thank you for allowing us in. Yes, sir. We was here.
They were on the plantation.
Our family was on the plantation. Wow. And that's, of course, that's the slave house. That's one of the slave houses. Good to see you again, sir. It's been 13 years.
That's right.
Good to
How
see
you
you.
been?
Doing fine.
Last time, and we
Alexander Sharpton. How many slaves were staying there?
I have no idea.
This is where they would have a slave.
Yeah, that's when, exactly. That was, exactly.
The two people that most influenced my life were from South Carolina, James and Jesse. Jesse right up the road with me. I went for his mother's funeral. Jesse walked me to my mother's casket.
Wow.
Two South Carolina. That's the balance of my life, James and Jesse.
Yeah.
Civil rights, shoulders.
But also where your people from too.
Literally.
Yeah, right.
And when I knew Jesse was from James, I started president.
Yeah.
And James had died before I knew about him in South Carolina.
Oh, really?
Yeah. James died December 25th. He died Christmas Day, 06. And they came to do the story for February of 07. They came in January. His daughter swear that was his daddy and him and pushing the information out.
Wow.
And I called Jesse and told him, do you know that my great-grandfather was a slave about 45, because Greenville right up to I-20. He said, I told you we was connected. That's why you got to listen to me. But organization has been on the front line. People ask me why do families call us back. We never leave. Let's go right back to the phones on XL Friday. Let's go to Ron in Maryland. Ron.
This is Ray.
Okay, they got Ron. Is this Ron in Maryland or Ray in Cincinnati?
Ronnie in Philly.
All right, go ahead, Ron.
Hey, how you doing, Reverend Al?
I'm doing well.
Yesterday we had a little rally at the Camden County Hall of Justice to call attention to the New Jersey Conviction Review Unit. I talked to you about that. They received 600 applications in 7 years, and they only exonerated 2 people for the entire state of New Jersey. So, I've been out here fighting for my exoneration, Rev, 7 years, and I would like to, you said that, you would get behind this regarding the New Jersey Conviction Review Unit. I was up at the first day of the rally, made it up there, and it was exhilarating as always. This is my 5th time. But
well, we need to really make that national. And all those years, give me the figures again.
600 applications, over 600 applications, 7 years, and only 2 exonerations for the entire state of New Jersey. Whereas in Philly, same time, 50 exonerations. So the New Jersey Conviction Review has problems.
And how do they rationalize that, or do they?
Well, they don't have to answer to us. Everything is done in secrecy. So this is why I'm calling on the new governor, Governor Mikey Sherrill, and the new Attorney General, Jennifer Davenport, to just take a look. What's wrong? They've declared some people actually innocent, but they never let them go.
Yeah, no. We need to. All right, hold on a minute. Get his information to me, because I want to get Reverend Bartley and them in New Jersey on this, and even if I had to come down there, this is atrocious. Make sure, Dallas, you get me directly to me his information. Thank you for your call, Ron. Let's go to Still Bill in Cincinnati, Ohio. Still Bill.
This is the day the Lord has made, and I will rejoice and be glad in it. Good afternoon, Reverend. It's been a while.
Good afternoon.
I've been listening pretty much. That's why I ain't been talking for the last couple of weeks and calling in. But I understand on top of things. I know what Donald Trump is doing, as always, stirring up the pot, as always. But I do want to focus on women's celebrity month, or whatever it is called. I do salute our black actresses and singers, including your daughter. I find her definitely a positive role model. I look at her as your ace co-host and your ace partner. I definitely want to just continue on working on doing my part to support civil rights and everything. I'm looking forward to voting in November. I feel Donald Trump's days are just about over. So I'm just going to just keep the faith. And to Dominique, I'm going to keep it real. Thank you for the opportunity, Reverend.
All right, thank you. Let's go to...
I got Rev Williams.
We are joined, as we are every Friday at this hour, for the last hour of the show for the week, by the senior pastor of the historic King Solomon Baptist Church in Detroit, as well as the head of national expansion and Michigan State Chair of the National Action Network, the Reverend Charles Williams II. How you doing, Reverend?
Rev, all is well, and it's most certainly good to be with you as we continue to come on the downstroke from our National Action Network National Convention on last week. Great convention, one for the books, thousands, if not 10,000 or more folks all over that convention hall. as we nailed down every single one of the might be's. Might be meaning they might run, might will, might won't. But nevertheless, National Action Network and the civil rights community surrounded around National Action Network continues to be in the forefront. Thinking about that, I think about where we are right now, where we have a president who is literally trying to box with his words a pope. Here we are in 2026. What clergy, what civil rights organization, what religious tradition would not be a promoter of peace? And the gall of this president to try to take to task the Pope of the Roman Catholic Church is just absolutely ridiculous. And it even shows even more why it is important for us to stay headstrong and focused on what our purpose is as a civil rights organization, as activists. So join us. Join the National Action Network. Join the peace movement. Join the civil rights movement. Join the human rights movement. Join the voting rights movement. If you want to be a part of any of that, join us, the National Action Network, by going to www.nationalactionnetwork.net, because there's some action planned for this year. I heard some of the stuff that was coming from the convention and the board and our leader, Reverend Sharpton, and we're looking forward to getting on the ground and all over this country as we prepare to fight back in the midterms.
And I think that's right. I think also, in addition to what you said about no denomination, civil rights group, or religious group, I think when I'm looking at our page, our message board, it says Happiness Donuts raise a good point. Still, Bill, share a reputable Bible quote with Pete Hegseth. When Hegseth got up and tried to act as though he was quoting the Bible, I think that, and he was quoting Pulp Fiction, some quote that Samuel Jackson Jr. I mean,
yeah.
Nothing exposes more how they misuse and misapply and try to act as if they're so holy that he didn't even know he wasn't reading the Bible. He was reading Pulp Fiction. I mean, these people have no, it's almost like there's no bottom to their falling in what they do.
You're absolutely right, Rev. I mean, when I saw it, and just the gall of, I was listening this morning to former Secretary of Defense, Panetta, talking this morning about that, it's just not even a position. Look how many folks you alienate. You start talking about your Jesus and your God. Well, we got folks who are on the front lines who they deal with Buddha and they deal with Hindu and they deal with Islam. I mean, it's just it's unconscionable, unspeakable. And if this don't set everybody on fire to prepare themselves for the midterm, nothing will.
Absolutely right. I agree with you. Let's go to Ray in Cincinnati, Ohio. The Buzz in Cincinnati. Ray.
Yes, sir, Rev. Thanks for coming to me. Rev, a couple of things, and you had brought up mental health earlier. I'm going to ask you a question on that. But, hey, you got a guy named Donald Trump. He started a war with Iran. Iran fought back like any country would. And then Donald Trump says, well, you got 2 weeks to surrender or make a deal. I mean, how bold is that?
Yeah.
You started it. They defended themselves. And now you want to give him a deadline?
Yeah.
I mean, this man's crazy. Talking about mental health, but let me ask you this: I don't know enough about mental health to make an educated decision, but everybody has their own opinion. Do you believe that anybody who commits suicide has a mental health issue?
I mean, I'm not like you. I'm not a mental health expert. But I would suggest something is mentally wrong, and when and I think that we ought to be clear when we talk about mental health. It could be severe depression. It doesn't have to be that they just crazy. It could be that their mind cannot handle their reality. So I would think somebody that commits suicide has made a mental surrender in order to end their own life.
Right. Now, I think every case is different. I don't know if you remember about 15, maybe 20 years ago, even longer. There's a lady, Susan Smith. She had 3 kids in her car, and she drove herself in the river.
Yeah, I remember.
I don't know if you remember that.
I do remember.
Okay. Now, I don't know if they deemed that she had mental health issues. That's one thing. You take a guy that is running from the cops. He just robbed a bank. He'd been in jail before, and then they tracked him down, and then cops are on their way to get him, and so he decides to shoot himself. I don't think that's a mental health issue. I mean, you crazy if you can shoot yourself, but the idea of he would rather kill himself and not go than to go to jail is something different than I think maybe what Susan Smith did with her kids. Now you take the lieutenant governor. I don't know him, but when you have to be sane enough to run for lieutenant governor and win. He had a nice family, nice, good-looking family. But you decide to take your life and your kid's mother's life and leave those 2 kids without a mother and father forever.
And you leave the kids there to see the dead body of your mother and father in the house. I mean, those kids must be traumatized forever.
Yeah, I would think that would be a selfish act to leave your kids knowing that. You want to take your own life, go take it. But why would you leave your kids without a mother and father for the rest of their lives? To me, that's a selfish act. So going back to what I said, it depends on the situation. Susan Smith, the guy that refuses to go back to jail, he kills himself. I don't think he had a mental issue. He just got caught and decided, I'm not going to jail no more. And then you got the lieutenant governor. So you got 3 different issues. And I don't know if all of them had mental issues. He was sane enough to run for city office or state office. To me, he was sane in my mind. So I just want your opinion on that.
I think I hear you. Thank you for your call, Ray. I was saying, let's take the break. I'll be right back. More of you on the phones. Sharpton, Williams, keeping it real. Be right back.
Yeah, I'm out at Brooklyn. Now I'm down in Tribeca, right next to the Narrow. But I'll be hood forever. I'm the new Sinatra. And since I made it here, I can make it anywhere. Yeah, they love me everywhere. I used to cop in Harlem. All of my Dominicanos right there up on Broadway. Pulled me back to that McDonald's. Took it to my stash spot, 560 State Street. Catch me in the kitchen like a Simmons whipping pastry. Cruising down A Street, off-white Lexus. Driving so slow, but BK is from Texas. Me, I'm out that Bed-Stuy, home of that boy Biggie. Now I live on Billboard, and I brought my boys with me. Say what up to Tata, still sipping my top. Sitting courtside, Knicks and Nets give me high five. I be spiked out, I could trip a referee. Tell by my attitude that I most definitely from.
Don't get it twisted. Everybody hollering loud ain't saying something. We need activists that are at large, but we need those that will continue these institutions and these organizations. If you are what you should be, you don't have to have nobody step aside. People will push you up. What time it is? It's Al Sharpton time. It's time to put aside all pretenses, deception, denial, or fronting. The time has come to keep it real on Keeping It Real with Reverend Al Sharpton. You need to keep it real with Reverend Al Sharpton right here on Uber TV. Reverend Al Sharpton, and we're back. 1-877-532-5797. 1-877-532-5797. Let's go back to the phone. Attorney Jennifer Jones Austin. You know, every day, Monday through Friday, I do 3 hours a day on Keeping It Real with Reverend Al Sharpton. I do 1 hour on Sunday mornings with Reverend Al Sharpton. And I'm live on radio and TV with the Saturday Action Rally. 7 days a week, I talk to our people, hear from them, to call in. I'm sick and tired of people talking for people that they don't talk to. So go on www.nationalactionnetwork.net. Listen to my show, call in, express your opinion. You don't have to agree with me. But let's start talking to each other rather than about each other and lecturing at each other. Let's keep it real with Sharpton.
Happy 20th anniversary to Reverend Al Sharpton on 20 years of Keeping It Real. 2 decades of truth-telling, fearless advocacy, and keeping the people informed and empowered. Thank you for always speaking power to justice and standing firm for what's right. Here's to 20 years of impact and many more to come.
Reverend Sharpton, good to see you here tonight. By our count at WMUR, you've only been here once in 2003.
You counted wrong.
Okay.
You must be using the Florida Republicans count.
Nevertheless, as far as your visits are concerned, you have been here far less often than your colleagues here who have gone through the paces, met with the voters, done the grassroots style of campaigning that the voters of New Hampshire are expecting and looking for. Why shouldn't those very same voters not think of you as disrespecting them by not coming here and doing the same thing?
Well, I think, first of all, I've been here several times last year and this year. I intend to be here. In fact, I was to preach here Sunday, and the snow stopped me. I intend to be here between now and the primary. And I think that's any more than any of us. There are many places that some of my colleagues have not been to often at all. I think that people go and campaign based on their resources and their availability. So I think that that is not something that they should read into any of us about any particular primary. I also want to address your first question. As a minister, I think that you can have a personal motivation of religion, but you should not try to act like your religion is something that dictates where people ought to go. I pray every day. I can assure you in my talks with God, he is not a registered member of the right wing of the Republican Party.
Today, many of those same challenges still remain that Reverend Al Sharpton stood on the 2004 Democratic primary debate stage and spoke about, a clear reminder that the work is far from over. For over 35 years, the commitment to justice has remained strong. The fight continues, the voice is steady, and the mission moves forward.
Many people cannot focus because they have not really come to terms with their calling and life purpose. In order to focus, you must also be clear on what you're focusing on. So if you're not clear on your purpose, if you're not clear on your life's calling, then focus on seeking that. Because if you just read the ways and roads you traveled that you didn't even choose, that were sort of just laid out for you by God, in that it's telling you, speaking to you about what your purpose is and what you were born to do and be. I learned the things that I didn't plan had to be planned by God, and God's plan was directed toward God's purpose in my life. And I focus on that. Not focus on what others do, not focus on how well they're doing or bad they're doing, but focus on whether I'm in line and aligned with what I'm supposed to be about. And in order to move straight ahead, you have to be focused on the path you're running on. Some of you forget where you come from and forget how you got there and act like you got there because you were qualified or that you had a good resume. But some of us had to pay a price for your resume to even be read. Some of us had to take nights in jails and licks upside the head or shut out of boardrooms like Byron so you could walk down red carpets and act like you got there by yourself. So I received this award with a special place in my heart and on my shelf because I'm getting it from a freedom fighter who never forgot where he came from and how he got there. Yes, we've come a long way. We've had now a black president and now a black vice president, but we still can get shot down and have to march to get a case in court. We still can get shut out of boardrooms. We're still doubly unemployed in a good economy. So we're gonna have to keep marching. And I thank not only my family, a mother that raised me by herself, but I thank that lady at the end of the march that knows she won't be on TV that night and knows her name will never be in the paper, but she believed in me enough to get at the end of the line and make me look good. Because Dr. King used to say, if you call a march and no one shows up, you just going for a walk. Keeping it real. I'm your host, Reverend Al Sharpton. Reverend Charles Williams II is our co-host. Let's go to Terry in Washington, D.C. Terry.
Good afternoon, Reverend. And how are you?
I'm doing well.
Good. Before I get to my exhale today, you kind of stole the words right out of my mouth about the Pulp Fiction pulpit preacher who doesn't know what he's talking about. But then you left me an opening there when you said that what comes out of that administration is basically bottomless. It's a bottomless buffet of nothing but buffoonery and bigoted comments that lead them to nowhere. So,
right.
You can never expect anything truthful to come from them. But the reason I call today is this week was the baseball organization in sports celebrating Jackie Robinson and all the teams wear his number 42. And I attended a game in the area here, which was a good ceremony. But yesterday I was reading the New York Times in their sports section called The Athletic. And there was an article in there about the Texas Rangers. And there's always one organization or one something that doesn't follow the rules. They have acquired a statue from Dallas's Love Field, who was looking to get rid of it, of a Texas Ranger. And the Texas Ranger who modeled for this statue was I guess he's dead now. I think he is a Texas Ranger named Jay Banks. I don't know if that name rings a bell to you or not. But there's a full picture of him on page 4 of this article, and I implore your listeners and you to read it, of him with his foot propped against a tree, and in the background there's a high school in Arlington, Texas called Mansfield High School. It was back in 1956, and it shows students coming out of the school in their 50s garb. These are all white high school students with white T-shirts and their jeans. And you look at the top of the picture, hanging from the building is a black edifice, a hanging.
Wow.
Basically.
Wow.
And in this article, it talks about the Texas Rangers edifying the name of Rangers and buying this statue from Love Field Airport, was trying to get rid of it because of the pushback they got back in 2020 post George Floyd. And they invited the press without telling them, this is the baseball stadium now, the Texas Rangers, to a ceremony unveiling something in the stadium in March. And when they get there, what it is this statue. And it's a statue of this racist Texas Ranger, Jay Banks, posing in that picture. You have to see that picture. It's just disgusting. But the stadium now has put it in its concourse honoring the Texas Rangers. And the NAACP chapter in Arlington, Texas, which is headed by Jason Thomas, was trying to get together with the Major League Baseball and complain about this statue. And the guy named Manfred, who is the president of MLB, refuses to meet with them to discuss this. And there's a large black community, which is about 5 or 6 miles away from the stadium, who just thinks it's deplorable that they go and acquire this statue of a racist Texas Ranger and place it in the stadium. Yeah, and it's just something that I thought was just despicable for one Major League Baseball team to carry out this, it's particularly during a period when they were honoring a legend, a black legend in Major League Baseball, Robinson. So I don't know if you've seen that, but I implore you to take a look at that article and read it. It's from the April 15th version of The Athletic, and it's called "This Statue Was Too Controversial for Dallas Airport. Why did the Texas Rangers give it a home?"
I think that you raised some critical points. I think also that to underscore the depth of why I think your points are critical is, let's not forget that all of these municipal stadiums, football, baseball, whatever the sport may be, is undergirded by public funds. And taxpayers are paying for these bigoted replicas to be put up in stadiums that we're paying for.
Yeah. And then when someone finds it offensive and they want to meet with you to find out what's going on, they refuse to meet with, the NAACP Arlington, Texas chapter. They wouldn't answer questions from the New York Times, which says, "Oh, okay, well, we're not going to just talk with you. We're just going to leave it up," and they need to be called out on this.
Well, I think then the next step, and I'm glad you brought it to me because I'll get in touch with our chapters. They don't have to meet. They'll go meet our chapter of NAN there, our NACP chapter. Need to go meet with the governor and the members of Congress in that state and say, cut off their phones or we're not going to vote for you. I bet you the governor and them can get them to a meeting. Meet with them. Say, y'all are funding this. You need to cut off their funds as taxpayers in this state, or we're going to start a campaign to not vote for you again because you are condoning this racist behavior.
Well, that's one of the things that bothered me about it, too, of knowing who the governor of Texas is.
Well, I think that certainly Abbott's not going to listen, but I think that you can certainly press some of those officials in the state legislature or even the mayor in where the stadium is built. There's ways to go other than direct action for a meeting there. Yeah. But I'm glad you raised it. Thank you for the call. Let me take a break. Be right back. Keeping it real. Sharpton Williams. Be right back. Keep it real. 5:15.
London, yeah. We've got many problems there. We need you over our side. Yeah, you're invited anytime, please. Whenever you want to come.
There we go.
Dice! What's up, Doc?
So we are in not a political dilemma, we are in a moral dilemma. And if the black church does not come with a prophetic voice, then who's going to do it? We can go through all the data, all the statistics, all we're going through in the workshops, but the question is, where is the action going to be? We all believe in Jesus. Jesus didn't teach theology, he healed people. And they learned the nature of the theology based on his healing. We got to heal this nation. And if we heal this nation, the nation will return to our churches. But we've become silent and compromised. And we try to blame it on, I'm not in this. You are in this. You live it, your members live it. Unemployment now is higher now than it's been since the pandemic. Yet we survive.
Yes, sir.
There's no history in the world of any people that went through the kind of psychological, cultural, and physical slavery like blacks did in America. The only reason we're still here is because of our faith. We had no external strength. We had an internal strength. And it was the God that we were taught by our mamas and grandmamas that brought us through. And I don't care who's sitting in the White House, we cannot betray the God that brought us through.
I remember I was 12 years old. I was a boy preacher in the Church of God in Christ. Bishop Sheard knew my bishop, Bishop Washington. Bishop Washington, my mother was concerned I was getting into politics. They brought us to Reverend William Jones. His daughter's traveling with us. And Reverend Jones introduced me to Jesse Jackson. I became his youth director in New York at 13. I liked Reverend Jackson because he was a little hipper than the older preachers. He was 27, I was 13 by the time I became youth director. So he was like a father figure to me. When I got about 40, he said, quit calling me father, call me big brother. We went to the Car Center, and James Meeks and Jesse Jr. and I had dinner with him that night. And that's where he said to us, Al, Meeks, Jesse Jr., y'all are my disciples. And we said, disciples. And for years we joked each other. I'd come in the room and Junior said, here's disciple number one. But discipleship meant you carried forth the vision. The next day, he took me on the ferry to Goree Island, Mrs. Jackson. On Goree Island, he showed me where the slave camps were. And I will never forget, he said, Al, you see what that artifact is? I said, what's that? He said, they call it the door of no return. When you go through that door, you either made it to America to slavery, or you died in the Atlantic.
the door of no return. But I talked to him about 3 years ago, and I reminded him, I said, remember when you brought me to the door of no return? He said, yeah. I said, well, we did return. We returned the President of the United States, Barack Obama. We returned the Vice President, Kamala Harris. We returned with businessmen. They thought they sent us as slaves. We came back as global liberators. The problem is that too many of us did not join the movements that sponsored us. And there was a breakout in 2024 called Negro Amnesia, where you forgot where you came from and forgot how you got where you got. Therefore, they're trying to take back everything you had. Charles Williams II is my co-host. Don't forget, Saturday, tomorrow, and Sunday, day after tomorrow, watch Politics Nation with Al Sharpton live at 5 p.m. Eastern Time on MS Now. And over the weekend, I have members of Congress. I'm certainly going to delve into it with them on where we are in the Affordable Care Act. But I'm going to have Congressman Meeks on talking about Iran. He's the ranking member of the Foreign Affairs Committee and how they intend to deal with Trump. I'm going to have the Secretary of State where they're having these elections illegally. I'm going to have several of our Minnesota State Attorney General Keith Ellison talking about the whole use of this presidency to undermine not only deportation but actual voting. Don't miss Politics Nation with Al Sharpton live at 5 p.m. Eastern Time on MS Now tomorrow and Sunday, formerly MSNBC. Then you that in the tri-state area, be at the Saturday Action Rally in the morning at the Mother AME Zion Church. We're there another couple of weeks as we get our new paid-for headquarters open. And I can't wait to move in, but we need to meet and be ready for our next steps after such a monumental convention. Be there 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. in the morning at in Harlem, 137th Street, between Lenox and 7th Avenues. Rem Williams, what's going on in the Detroit National Action Network?
Don't want to miss the Saturday Action Rally here in Michigan tomorrow, 10 a.m. Historic King Solomon Baptist Church. We are summer planning. We've got some actions we're planning for summer, as well as we are voter registering folks to vote all summer long. So we've got packets all set up for you to come and say, hey, I'm on the ground. I'm doing what I need to do. I'm doing my part. So make sure you join us tomorrow, 10 a.m., historic King Solomon Baptist Church, 6114th Street in the city of Detroit.
All right, let's go to the phone. We have a few minutes left. Let's start with Pam, then I'm going to Reverend Cavaniss. Pam, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton.
Thank you so much, Reverend Sharpton. Good to hear you. Wonderful convention. Thank you for having all of the potential presidential candidates. And hello, Reverend Williams. I don't mean to be disrespectful. So, Reverend Sharpton, just really quickly, I want Kamala Harris to run. I think she's earned the right. She's been absolutely correct on everything. And for me, she is the most qualified. Now, will I entertain whoever wins the primary? Of course. But I'm saying she's my front runner. Reverend Sharpton, what I wanted to really ask you, first and foremost, I'm hoping the NAN, the PUSH, and all of our civil rights memberships are up because we need to support the organizations doing the work. We need our Black billionaires and millionaires to come to the table and put some money up front because we're fighting the racist billionaires, the white ones, Elon Musk, Peter Thiel, and that's J.D. Vance is his benefactor, right?
Right.
I mean his supporter. I'm sorry.
His funder.
So,
his financials. Right.
Yes. So what I specifically call for this time, Reverend Sharpton, on Politics Nation, which you're killing it, you always have a segment, Gotcha. And I don't know if this fits, but Reverend Sharpton, people are always telling you to stay in your lane. Where here's my concern. I would say Jesus is your lane, right? Knowledge of Jesus and the Bible.
Right.
So,
right.
Okay. So I'm asking that all of the pastors or all of those who claim Jesus, right, is their lane. We need to speak out on what the adjudicated sexual abuser and J.D. Vance and Pete Hegseth, the harasser, sexual abuser, are saying about religion, about Jesus, and about how they're trying to use the scriptures to justify the killing, not only in Israel, by Israel to Palestine, but all the other bombings. So I'm just asking at some point the pastors need to come out on that because they're attacking your lane and misusing and abusing it. So I'm really hoping to see that soon.
I think that's a great point. Thank you for that, Pam. Let me go on to, because they may discuss this in his statement today. Let's go to first Marcia McCoy, the incomparable, irrepressible head of our Greater Cleveland, Ohio chapter of National Action Network, and they showed up in big numbers at the National Action Convention. Dr. McCoy?
Our Honorable Reverend Dr. Professor, keeping it real, Al Sharpton, and to our Midwest Region Director, Reverend Dr. Charles Williams II, you're the best for the Midwest. While in college, I remember a man by the name of E.F. Hutton, and I believe the slogan was, when E.F. Hutton speaks, everybody listens. Well, I'm here to tell you today, radio listeners, that thank God for Kathy Hughes, who sought out a man by the name of Reverend Al Sharpton at the time, and now known around the world in other countries as Reverend Dr. the Honorable Reverend Dr. Professor Al Sharpton, because his mind is sharper and swifter than a two-edged sword. His brain is intellectually equipped and quicker than a speeding bullet. You can't get anything past him. While at the convention, the 35th convention, we were given strict instructions and a plan of action. No tricks in 26. Remember in November, and make no mistakes in 2028.
Yeah.
It's ours to take in 2028. More to come. But Bishop Cavaniss, it's meal time.
Dr. Al Sharpton.
Yes, sir.
Dr. Charles Williams.
Yes, sir.
Hold my mule, my brother.
I got you, Reverend.
Way back in 1912, W.E.B. Du Bois, a co-founder of the NAACP and a fierce supporter of civil rights and human rights, made the colossal mistake of endorsing and supporting Woodrow Wilson for the presidency of the United States of America. William Monroe Trotter, Reverend John Milton Waldron, Bishop Alexander Walton joined him. What they got from this notorious racist bigot was nothing less than total humiliation. In every realm of equity and inclusion, this hypocrite was the epitome of hate and hate racism. Fast forward, any and every person of color, especially African American, who voted for convicted felon Donald J. Trump, did the race a terrible injustice and almost fatal blow to democracy, equality, justice, and freedom. This avowed, unapologetic white nationalist supremacist has done everything he possibly could to discredit, to demote, and to humiliate black people and send them back to slavery as much as he possibly can. He and his vile, racist administration have done a job on civil rights, on voting rights, on economic rights, educational opportunities. He has closed the door to diversity, equity, and inclusion, and has fired every black person of VIP status in the federal government. He even made the Easter hunt in the White House the other week as lily white as he could, not inviting indigenous Washingtonians of color to be guests. He fails to promote black generals, and except for one housing secretary, he is hardly anyone of African descent in his key position in his administration. This is a convicted felon who is void of character, void of integrity, decency, and dignity. His profanity is synonymous with the toilet, and his criticism of the Pope and other distinguished leaders of distinction are egregious and deleterious. He disdains constitutional government and wants to be a king and wants to be a dictator. He has no example. He has no example of excellent governmental leadership and is an embarrassment to modern exemplary society. After campaigning on a pledge to end all wars, he has plunged the nation into an unprovoked war with Iran without constitutional congressional approval that, as we speak, threatens to cause young men and women in the armed services to die on foreign lands for lack of diplomatic skills of a narcissistic, power-drunk, convicted felon occupying the White House and the Defense Department. In the meantime, while this unfit, egotistical demon is spending $2 billion a day on war crimes, average Americans are experiencing high food prices, high gas prices, inflation, and other negative factors that threaten their livelihood. We, my brothers and my sisters, have reason to fear that this unhinged, neurotic, psychotic, and deranged man will destroy this nation, but with his unsteady hand on the nuclear button, might destroy this whole world. It's just that life-threatening. Having said this, Dr. Sharpton and Dr. Williams, there is still time for America to correct this mistake that was made. In November 2026, dump these tricks and oust these foes of democracy. Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you, Bishop, and always well said and eloquently stated, as you have no rivals in terms of your elocution. Let me say this as we get ready to go. Let us be very, very prayerful for those two teenage children that were left without a mother and father when, according to all reports, the father killed his wife and committed suicide. Let's keep these two young teenagers in their prayer, in your prayers and my prayers over the weekend. And let me thank all of you that called in and listened in. Let me thank Reverend Charles Williams. Let me thank all of you that called in and couldn't get through, but hung in there anyhow. Remember, whatever you do, wherever you go, however you feel, tell somebody, tell anybody, tell everybody. Reverend Al told you personally
Keep it real. Keep it real. Keep it real. I'll talk to you.